The differences between faith schools and state schools?
Well, state schools are fully controlled and run by the local authority. So let's take Lambeth, from where I'm from. There are schools there that are state schools, fully funded and controlled by the authority. Every decision that is made is been taken from the local authority, so the Lambeth Council, for example. Faith schools are religious schools. We have Catholic schools, Church of England schools, we have Islamic schools. They are partially funded by the local authority and various charities, but they have more of independence to how they would like to run their school. Now, the big difference in the faith school is, and it's not the proclaimed discipline. Everyone says that if you go to a faith school, the discipline is better than. It's not discipline, it depends on the structure of the education system in that school. It is the subjects taught. Now, in a state school, English and maths are the core subjects. Science used to be a core subject, but that's sort of taken a step back. Whereas in the faith school, English, maths and RE, or English, maths and Islamic studies are core subjects, to the point where all schools are inspected by Ofsted, but in a faith school, they're also inspected by the RE version of Ofsted, where they inspect the religious education that's being taught in that school. That's the major difference when it comes to, in terms of progress and outcomes. And if a parent wants to know, how well that school is doing, they can simply log into the UK, and it's got a list of all the schools in their borough, and they can see how they've been performing in terms of attainment, Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 2, SATs results, Ofsted reports. You can even, every school posts their Ofsted report, their latest Ofsted report. So the parents are more than welcome to log into there and check.
Quick answer: do you think grammar schools are the answer?
Primary schools?
Grammar schools.
Grammar? No. Absolutely not. I won't say absolutely not, but no. I feel as though the solution is in the schools that you are at now. It's not about making this grammar school with these different set of rules and outcomes and trying to, no. If you want to solve the solution, it's there.
Do you feel the finances in grammar school compared to state school, you see, is it
big difference?
A big difference, and would it be easier for that to change if there was no?
Well, parents choose grammar schools purely based on the attainment that the school is creating, and partly because of that is they have a lot of resources and a lot of money. There is a big gap in the funding provided for grammar schools in comparison to state schools. The education budget is cutting. This latest government have reduced it significantly, and there's not a lot of money left. There are some schools that are in a financial deficit at the moment, where they have to restructure their staffing to ensure that they don't become insolvent. So money is running out, and they have to rely on support from charities or from activities they do in school. Money is a big issue.
Do you feel like parents should pay for school?
Well, do you know what? If they did, perhaps that might improve behaviour. Because parents might now say, I'm paying for your education and you want to muck about. That's one thought that I had in my head when I was dreaming about my ideal primary school that I would like to create. And I thought, do you know what? They have enough challenges as they do financially, especially with the way that this environment is. I don't think they should pay, but what I do think is that they should pay more of a vested interest in their child's education. I feel like a lot of parents see school as a childcare place. Drop my child off, have a nice day, come back, oh, my child was naughty, no problem, I'll deal with it. Cycle continues. There's no interaction.
What is your ideal primary school? How would you set it up?
How would I set it up?
Yeah.
I'll set it up on the basis, if we go back over some of the things we've spoken about, I'll set it up on the basis of having a range of role models of different genders, of different cultures, different nationalities, a wealth of experience, so that the child firstly sees that, because remember, school is meant to be the drama classroom of life. sets you up for life. What you learn in school is the foundation of how life would be. And the first thing I would want is a range of teachers of different cultures, different nationalities, different experiences, different skin color, etc., different religions, to show that child that humanity can connect and interact on a positive note for the better. That's the first thing. The second thing I would do, I'm thinking about it now, is I'd ensure that a holistic education is provided. Not just the academics, not just the physical, but the personal, the social, the emotional. Liaise with different charities, counsellors, liaise with emotional support, bereavement, liaise with everything that a child would need to be able to foster and to develop amazingly so that they become active contributors to the society. There's a famous saying, and I'm pretty sure we all probably know it: it takes a village to raise a child. And I feel as though if I get the right members of the village in this primary school, this ideal primary school, then that child will be raised with great potential and not fall off. But it takes a combined effort from every key stakeholder in this village. So those, I could go on and on and on and on, but that would be it.
Taking that question one step further, if you were to design the education system in Eritrea from top down, how would you implement it?
Well, that's been actually, speak of that. Funnily, you speak of that, because that's been an idea of mine that I've been sort of pondering over, about going back home and bringing what I've learnt and developing an education system there, because frankly, it could do with a rejig, and a rejig is an understatement. I think one of the first things in place is to provide the children with a basic would to them probably be sufficient education, where they can actually be able to learn without having to worry about payment, without having to worry about the struggles of getting to and fro, back and forth from school, because a lot of our children quickly grow up to be adults at a very early age. They take on responsibility and they take on many things that they shouldn't do at such a young age. So I would want to provide them an educational hub, a school, where they can actually just be children, not have to worry about the things that they need to do at home, not have to worry about the adult that they need to be at home because mum has said you must be responsible now at the age of 13 or 12 or whatever. But to just be able to do things for themselves and learn for themselves and be able to, to develop and grow as their own person, as opposed to the person that someone else wants them to be to support, or because this is how it's always been done. That's what I would want to bring, and I think that's missing from not just in Eritrean culture, but a lot of cultures.
What about technology?
You mean sort of bringing that into...
Yeah, or even VR.
What, within Eritrea or just in general?
In general.
In general. Well...
Are you aware of it?
No, not as much, but if we're going to go down the topic in terms of, online material and content to enhance education, I mean, I've always been an advocate for it, because it teaches children to be independent. I mean, there is a maths scheme called My Maths. It's an online resource that children log in onto their iPads and work on maths independently. You set them homework, but they can also learn other things. And there's a place for it, because we are we are in a digital age. So we have to take advantage of what we have so far, whether it's VR or anything else, for them to develop. But on the other hand, I feel like there's nothing better than a book and a pen and having the real life experiences.
I guess it's how we've developed from chalkboards to whiteboards to iPads.
Just now VR.
And then VR will be the next thing. So.
As I mentioned or introduced?
Not as, well, I do see them on sort of YouTube clips of teachers demonstrating them how they're used. But we're talking about these top end schools with money and these academies that they can do what they want. When it comes to average state school or voluntary aided school, especially in this country, it's not happening anytime soon.
How does it feel to teach in the same primary school you studied at?
Well, obviously I'm no longer there now, but I'm at a new school. But when I was teaching there, it was like a hero's welcome. When I first went back, I went back the July of 2018. So I went there to do an interview. So I was taken around the school. And remember, there were a lot of kids there who served with me at church. So when I was taken around the school, I went into this year six classroom, and I was watching a Spanish lesson, and watching the kids, and I saw a couple of the kids that I recognized from church, and they were like, they didn't see me, and then, you know, the teacher said, oh, children, we have a visitor, make sure that you're on your best behavior. They turn around, the one child turns around, turns back in. Huh? And then because their class is 2 form, he ran into the next classroom, another year 6 classroom, and I went inside there. That class was just finishing off their writing, and this child started pestering other people, and then, hey, look, it's Mirad. And then everyone raised their head. They were like, hey, it's Mirad, it's Mirad. The whole classroom went ballistic because I came, and it touched me because it was almost like I said, it was a hero's welcome, and they were so awed to see me, which reminded me of how much impact I had. So much so that I apologized to the teacher for, you know, because clearly they were writing and doing something, and I apologized for, you know, causing such a stir. And she was very friendly. She sort of took it. She was relaxed about it. And then one child, and this is how I knew that, yeah, this has gone too far. One child shouted, "Hey Mirad, I'll see you on Sunday." And I was like, oh gosh. And then obviously, I got the job. I got the job from it, and I guess the saving, I think not on the saving grace, but one of the unique selling points was, and if I said to you, I knew that I got this job from the beginning, I would be honest and say that I kind of felt that from the beginning. I think one of the selling points was the fact that I was so deep into the community that everyone knew that I was someone of a role model, someone who can impact the kids. And I mean, you can see it now. Nearly 3/4 of my class serve with me at church. The kids still remember my name every time I go past Brixton. Their parents still, you know, tell me, "Oh, please come back," etc. It was like a hero's welcome. Especially when I had to lead assembly. Normally the head teacher leads assembly, but for whatever reason he wasn't there. So one of the senior leadership did it, and then she asked for someone else to do it. Nobody really wanted to get up because, you know, stage fright and all. And I was like, you know what, I'll do it. And then I, you know, got up, and then, you know, one clap here, everyone started clapping, and I was like, all right, let's have some more of this.
Yo, I don't need a coach. I don't need advice.
Good talk, coach. Thanks.